man, because that song stands on its own, man. Like I was telling you off the air, you never know, like that. Yo, if you can't say you a hip hop fan, man, if you don't feel that, like it's just what it is. I don't even gotta ask you like what inspired that. Like you talk about it in the record, man, but it sounds like you just having a conversation over a beat. Like, is that how the song came together in the studio?
Yeah, well, you know, like I always try to, like, with music, give people what's happening with me at the moment, what's real. You know, I can't rhyme about the same things I rhymed about, you know, when I was 19 or, you know, when you was just on the block. You know, I went through some shit, you know, with the law, and I had to do some time. So I got to give y'all that. You know what I'm saying? I feel that's what I feel makes the best music, no matter what genre, is give people your life as it is at that moment. You know what I mean? So I had to take people through what it felt when they opened the gates and let me back out to make music. Give people what it felt to be in there. Give people, you know, how it felt, you know, being investigated and then, you know, and still keeping it hip hop and lyrically interesting at the same time.
Indeed, man. That was like you came out like harder than Tupac when he came like back to catch wreck. Like you came out fresh out. I know you listening to got a dance on my lap with the ice on my man. Look, yo, that shit is so hard, man. All right, and we also got the Black Mass joint, man. I believe what Lil Fame and Sheik Luch on it, yo. How did that joint come together?
Just, you know, straight up MCs, man, just getting together. You know, Fame, we got a bunch of stuff coming down the pipeline, me and Fame. Me and Turn, we always work together. Very rarely either one of us put out a project without both of us, you know, one of us being on each other's project. You know, it's my twin right there. And, you know, we had this record, and he blindsided me, though. You know what I'm saying? He didn't tell me who was going to be on the record. But he gave me the record. All I had was the beat. See, a lot of times with dudes, you know, we all try to be competitive lyrically, and I think that's what makes for the best records. You know what I'm saying? When dudes start trying to, you know, like who had the best verse, we try to do. So some dudes will give you a record with everybody's verse on it, and when they do that, that allow you to sit back as an MC if you wanted to, you know, one of the real thinkers and say, okay, this what they did, I'm gonna get at this. But you know, he said me just the skeleton, just the beat. You know what I mean? So you know, you gotta go hard because you don't know. He told me it was gonna be a joint with people on it, and he ain't tell me who. So you know, I still had to go hard regardless because I didn't know who was gonna come up there. But it came out real dope, and everybody did something so clever on it that you don't know. You know, if you talk to 5, 6 different people, you'll get a different answer on who had the best verse from each and every one of them. You know what I'm saying? So
that's facts. And I ain't trying to like you was scared or anything, but like, was there any type of, I guess, fear, like when it was time for you to come back out and drop music? Like, did you have a fear that like people would accept you?
Most definitely, man, because I was gone for almost 4 years, you know what I'm saying? And I had been working so hard, you know, before I went in. So when I came out, you know, when I was with the Freddie Gibbs, and all of us was in the same kind of movement, like, because before I went in 2014, I was on tour with Method Man and Redman and Be Real and, you know, Birdman, and we was on that tour, the Smokers Club tour, and I was recording then. And, you know, at that point, New York rap, at least, you know, was all trying to make hit records. They're always trying to make, you remember that moment in time where everybody, it's still kind of where everybody's trying to make a hit. And they don't care if it sounds like this region or that region, as long as they get a hit. You know, I was a part of that movement with the Freddie Gibbs of the world, shout out to him. Rock Marciano, shout out to him. You know, John Connor, who I got a joint coming with soon, oh my God. And, you know, that whole movement of dudes that was terminology, that whole movement of dudes that was like, we MC, we not playing that game. You know what I'm saying? Y'all get ahead and have that. You know what I'm saying? We're going to get at these bars. you know. So when I went in, I was a part of that whole movement. We all had about the same followers and the same thing going on. And then I went to prison. And then when I came out, they all grew. You know what I'm saying? Through that time.
Yeah.
You know, like, and now right now, bars is heavy back. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, yeah. So it was kind of scary, like, damn, did people forget all that work I put in back then? You know what I mean? Are they going to accept me now? But I was really blessed. Shout out to my brother, Show Off Records, Static Selector. He kept my name buzzing by putting me on every album that he dropped while I was in prison. I had a song on. You know what I'm saying? All right. So that kept me kind of relevant with that fan base. So it was open arms when I came back. Salute to that. Yeah, to answer your question, it was scary though.
Nah, I like your answer better, you know, than just yes. So that was dope. Yeah. So you know, you was there for a minute. Most people, not most people, but a lot of people be like, yo, when I was down, nobody held me down. You know, you probably even got some of those stories. We ain't gonna talk about that. How did it feel, man, to know, like, at probably one of your lowest points, man, you had people like, yo, don't worry, man. Your name ain't going to die. We got you. And when you hit the streets, you're going to hit the streets running. And that's probably exactly what happened. How did that feel?
Well, you know, that felt great, man. Static came. A lot of people, a couple of DJs, you know, people came to see me. You know what I'm saying? I, you know, some love that I didn't know I had. You know what I'm saying? I got letters from cats and, you know, people went and checked on my family. You know what I'm saying? This is how I work in the streets. You know what I mean? For everybody listening. When you're doing what you're doing, no matter what it is you're doing to gain, you know, to get yourself by or whatever the situation is, whatever you're into, if you are a good cat, no matter what kind of bad you're doing, if you're a good cat and you do good by people, when the tables turn, if the tables turn, those people will be like, well, we don't give a fuck what he was doing. Because he was a real motherfucker. He was, when I needed him, he was there. You know what I'm saying? When he did, so I'm going to be there. So it won't matter what you do. You know what I mean? You could be on the run for whatever or doing whatever, and they'll be like, yo, he was 100. You know what I mean? So that love came back to me. You know what I mean? Even when I was in and when I came out. You know what I'm saying?
Word. You know, we all know lyrics is back, and definitely we hearing a lot more hip hop. I like, let's say, or whatever. But are you running into problems like getting on like bigger stations and you know with you know bigger personalities and things like that, or you haven't even worried about that? You just kind of been moving with who been reaching out to you.
Well, luckily for me, I got relationships with people at the major stations because I was in that machine before. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Been signed, you know, to the majors, been signed independent, all that stuff. So like I can make calls. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And get to those people. But I haven't made those calls yet. I've seen them out and about, and they showing love and letting me know whenever you're ready, holler. But I'm having so much fun with building the fan base and trying to get everything going back organically. Like, you can do so much right now from when I came up. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yo, let me stop you there. Let me stop you there, fam. Let me stop you there. Like, that one thing I didn't touch on. Like, just talk about the difference between, like, you being, like, early Rockefeller, you know, at the beginning, and, like, y'all having to go through manufacturing and all this kind of stuff. And now, not only can you work yourself, but you can release it yourself, and it's on the same platforms as everybody else.
That's what's up, man. Pardon me if you hear a little something. I'm pouring myself a nice glass of vodka while we doing this, people. So, so, you know, it's how we do, man. Real shit. You know what I'm talking about? So, anyway, that's the thing, bro. I could only imagine if I could take and put out what me and my partners was doing, you know, on the blocks in Brooklyn at 19. What? You know what I'm saying? Like, reality show 101, like the opportunity back then, for example, 500 DJs across the country. you had to get your records to, right?
Mm-hmm.
You got 2 pieces. You got to press vinyl, right? Which is cost is insane. You got to press 1,000 of them because every DJ needs 2 now. So you got to press 1,000 pieces of vinyl, right? Boom. And then you got to U.S. mail each piece of vinyl. If it's in the U.S., depending on how far, I would say roughly $5. So your cost goes from the cost of vinyl, you know what I mean, which is thousands of dollars, and then $5 times 500 DJs roughly, just to send it out to get you. And then you got to hope they're getting records from Def Jam, Universal, that come from Warner, that come from this, that come from this, and then your shit, if you're independent, just comes in a white. And remember the white, white labels. It just come in a white label. So you might spend all that money. He might not even open your shit because you're not priority. Now, what you do? Press a button on an email. Everybody gets it. Even overseas, which costed more, which had more of a cost for you to mail, to do the mail outs. Mail outs were expensive. It would cost you between 5 and 10 G's to get your records to people so they could possibly play your shit.
Yeah,
that's one thing that's like changed.
I know, man, and I definitely know, like, you guys, you saw it firsthand, you know what I'm saying? So, and now, like, for it to just be so a lot more easier, you still got to promote yourself and market and all that, but actually getting the music completed and ready to be released and then release it, like, the cost is like 1% of what it used to be, to seem like.
Insane opportunities. And, like, real quick, it's also like back then, if you sold 40,000 records, 50,000 records, you was considered a failure and getting dropped from your label. Right now, if you independently move, if you get 40,000 of your fans to purchase your stuff, anything. When I say the word stuff, because it could be T-shirts, it could be the merch, it could be and it could be the music. You're a multi-millionaire at the end of the year. You put out 3-4 projects. It's nuts. It's amazing. I love it.
That's what's good, man. I love your energy too, man. I say that. Hey, man, I asked this question. Everybody I'm interviewing during this time, like, did the limitations, like, stop anything in particular that you want to share, like a certain event that was really you was really counting on to push your stuff that kind of got canceled? Anything like that? Any tours, shows, or anything like that?
Oh, well, a bunch of stuff got closed down. First of all, I want to share with the people that I actually had the COVID-19, because we people that move around. I had it, I beat it. I got rid of it in like 2 weeks. I lost some friends to it. I lost 2 people to it already, people who just, body couldn't fight it off. You know what I'm saying? I beat mine with just herbs and, teas and soups and, stuff like that, and black seed oil. Please take care of your immunity system out there, people. You know what I'm saying? That's sea moss, all that stuff. And, I was able to beat it. But that being said, Terminology, shout out to Montoya. He was open in the studio. We was excited about, because, Stat Diddy, Static Selector, they call him Stat Diddy. That's why I was saying.
I got you.
Static Selector, he has his studio one place. He's always, working and booked. And then term was, we were going to do a grand opening of his studio in Brooklyn. That got pushed back. There was an April show with Terminology and me and DJ K Slade. He was throwing that in a real small spot on purpose to make it real hip hop, because we got big fan base, but he was doing a small spot so it'd be packed and make it hip hop. Obviously, we couldn't do that. It was a bunch of different events with Monster Energy, that Static, and then we're doing it. I was supposed to come out. Yeah, we can't get not being able to do, man. And they even talking about, even when they open the country back up, they made dead events like that all the way till 2021. So that's going to affect a lot of people's pockets, a lot of people's promotions. Yeah, it's nasty.
So with that, possibly being, our near and immediate future, how do you adjust and, still, push this project and other projects?
Well, that's the great